up, everybody? Welcome back to the next episode of His View. I'm Burke McGee. I'm your host. To my right,
Mr. Demetrius Hardeman. Like I said, your local government employee. They think I'm gonna get something started today by my opinions, but I don't know. Got my man Corey over here.
I'm Corey Ricks, the young adult youth pastor at Greater St. Stephen Full Gospel Baptist Church, as well as a musical artist. And I got my man Jordan to my right.
Yes. Jordan Ferdinand, owner of Gentleman's Ambition and Impeccably IT. My whole goal is just to express as much positivity to it in our community as possible.
cool. Like I said, I'm your host, Burke McGee. I'm a district manager for Waffle House. So I want to kind of dive into last week. Just in case you missed the episodes, we talked about, we talked about red flags. We talked about social media. So today we're going to dive into a new topic that's going to be: is it okay to have friends of the opposite sex, whether they past or whether they new friends? So I'm just gonna dive right into it.
Go ahead.
Just kick it off. Is it okay to have friends, female friends?
You looking at me, so I guess I'm gonna go first.
I mean,
So yes, it is okay for a man to have female friends. I know we're gonna get to a little bit later of the past and present,
Right.
but I think at the core of it, yes, it is okay for a man to have friends of the opposite sex. I'm gonna just stop right there for right now.
all right, Corey, how you feel?
I think it's okay. At the end of the day, as long as that person is well aware and have met your spouse, I think that's important too. For if my spouse had a friend, I know them straight up and down. I better know them, they better know me, and whatever the case may be.
Hold on. See,
Yeah.
now you already got me going.
Go ahead, go get started, baby.
So, all right. So you gotta know, or she gotta know her, right?
Yeah.
That's where we're going. All right. What if it's a friend that live in a different state, just come into town? You've talked about this person before, but they've never met your spouse.
Right.
Again, I love hey, let's grab lunch. I'm in town. I got 45 minutes. Love to see you. Is that a no? I can't come see you?
So let me ask you this: is she like, hey, listen, hey Corey, hey Joy, hey D, look, I have a friend that's coming in town. Like, let me run this by. Let me let you know what's going on. Or is it when I get home? It's like, look, I just want to let you know that I met up with.
Well, it could. I would say, okay.
Don't wait till
Let's start. Let's
Right.
start with one.
Because if you come home and you tell me,
Yeah,
then it's gonna be like
You walk into trouble.
So it's a problem if you disclosed it, but you have to disclose it beforehand, or you like when you get. Hey, such and such just hit me. I'm getting ready to go have lunch.
I'm gonna let you-
Correct that. So saying that, hey, yeah, so and so just hit me, I'm about to go. No, you say, hey, so and so just hit me. What do you think about it? Like, hey, I'm just letting you know, like, hey, is it cool if I go through? I understand that this person I'm friends with them, but I'm not saying that you have to ask their permission.
You
but
just
I think
did.
it's respect. It's respect though, especially in that level.
Okay.
I think it's not asking permission. It's
Okay.
more of a respect question.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Like, look, I'm just letting you know, like, I'm gonna go with them. Like, you cool, whatever, like that.
Okay.
Because if she say no, then I'm like,
But
okay.
let's back up. He's like, if she cool. Now again, we're gonna talk about communication later on.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why don't we already know that?
That is cool.
That is cool. Like why are we at? Is it like I gotta give a specification on every time this happens, or is it because I know Jordan, I know he's a good guy because of what I know about him and his character. He tells me he's gonna go to lunch. That's just all it is. He's going to lunch.
Well, I would say that just regardless if it's a female friend or a male friend, if you just out of nowhere not show up at night, you know what I mean, because you out with your friends or whoever they may be, you still got to at least let them know, like, hey, cool.
Yeah. I'm not saying that you just ghost and don't say anything.
Right.
And I'm gonna throw in another caveat. And this may not be popular opinion, but I'm gonna just throw it out there.
Right.
Is it different if the woman's attractive versus non-attractive?
it may be to your significant other.
Yeah.
Because I mean, if you going, I mean, and
I think
listen,
that does
So-
factor in.
I'm just keeping it 100. Like, just put yourself in some men's situations that are watching this.
Mhm.
Now, if your wife go meet up with the nerd, Billy Bob, or whoever, you know, I mean, I ain't worried about that.
Yeah.
But now she mess around and meet up with Morris Chestnut, and you like, who is he? Like, why? You know, I'm saying some may feel that way.
But then you know where I'm going, because my next thing is it really about the friendship or your insecurity in the situation? Because I mean, at the end of the day, I don't care who you are. Like everybody, y'all done play ball, been in sports, or something competitive.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
There's somebody out there that's better than you
Yeah.
at what you do.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
The choice for your coach to stick with you is because of the relationship you have with that coach.
Mm-hmm.
We've all been in situations where, you know, why they got this boy playing instead of that boy? Well, you don't know that this boy is loyal, consistent. I know what I'm gonna get. Though this over here may be a juggernaut that will give me, you know, quick responses, it may not be consistent. It may be a little bit more volatile. So it's like you never know what that particular situation is.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this: how would you respond? So just say, let's flip the question.
Mm-hmm.
So if your wife sees that, okay, he's going with somebody that's not attractive, so okay, cool, I'm not going to respond much on that. But if it's this banging whatever, it's like, okay, where you know it from?
Well,
Like how cool?
we're going to talk about this later, but that's where, you know, I think the communication and understanding the double standard and what a trigger is and what a trigger is not. And then I think we must, as individuals, in my opinion, let's dig deeper. Let's stop with the surface level, because there's another conversation we should be having that we're not having because we stuck on how the person look. Like, because the conversation could be, you know what? I think she is beautiful, and I am having an insecurity that, you know, I think you may feel that person is more attractive than I am, which is why I think you're going out. That's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah.
That's
communication.
yeah.
Gotta keep open.
we gonna pause.
Yeah, no, but I'm just, I mean, but when we start to talk about it, you know, I think with relationships, there's a lot that you have to unpack. And, you know, off camera, we had the conversation of when you get into a situation, are we talking about the surface? Or are we talking about the root?
Right.
And oftentimes, I think in our relationships, we're on the surface of it because there's a vulnerability in the root. And that's difficult because I got to feel comfortable with you to feel vulnerable. There's an assumption that we are because I'm in a relationship with you and I said I love you.
Okay. All right, so I want to go to the next phase. Does it matter where you all meet or you have met this person? Does it matter?
I think it matters. Like if you meet each other at a club or at a bar, like I personally have never had like a genuine like relationship with a that's friendship based strictly, nothing sexual or anything like that. With a female that I still talk to this day. I mean, if I like most friends that I have that are females, I've met them either at school, at work, or like say at a networking event, a mixer, even like social media like that. I know that's kind of like on and off, but it depends on like how the introduction comes out. So like say if it's an introduction like, hey, you know, I see you've been doing X, Y, and Z. I'm just trying to partner up to see if we can do, you know, some business together in this way, in this form and fashion. As long as that introduction is like clean cut in that way, where there's no like attraction type of like messaging back and forth, I think that's cool. But I think that location does matter. Like if you meet somebody like in a setting where you're used to meeting people who are just like here for like honestly like one thing, mostly like bar, at a club, cool. You already know kind of like what to expect from another person.
Okay. What you say, Cor?
I mean, I think location is important. You know, you don't want to. For me, I want to make sure that it's in a public place. You know, because if I don't have anything to hide, I don't have anything to hide. You know what I mean? But a lot of times people want to go to more intimate places. I don't think that's just wise on the part of a man because I trust the Lord, but I don't trust my flesh. So I'm not gonna put me in a compromising situation, right? Because I realized over time that when I put myself in compromising situations, it wasn't good. Now, with that being said, also, like, say for instance, your lady going out with somebody and where they meet, is that important? I think that's vitally important as well. Because even if you go back to the Garden of Eden, what was Adam when the serpent was talking to Eve? For me, Adam should have been somewhere saying, man, hold up. I don't care if who you are.
Right.
You come holler at me first.
Right.
For me, I'm a big order dude. I think everything should be done in decency and in order. And I don't mind anybody having friends or anything like that, but just do it with respect. Like you said, just do it with respect. Let's make sure those boundaries are set in place. And let's just be wise in the way we do it. Because guess what? I can go there genuinely saying, this is just my friend. I don't know her motives. I don't know how she's coming to this same sit-down talk. You know what I mean? Because I can genuinely be saying, oh, that's my girl from high school. Mm-hmm. She could genuinely be saying, I'm trying to get at Corey.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So you just don't know that other person and how they're going to come off. You know what I mean?
And just so I'm clear, it's like we talking about new people you meet or old people you've met?
It could be both, because the thing you got to think about it. We just were saying whether it's past or new friends. So with that being said, even if it's a new friend, like if this is a new friend, then where did y'all meet? Did you meet her at a bar? Did you meet her at, like?
Again, for me, I'm gonna start with old friends. I have absolutely no control of how you met anybody in your life.
Yeah.
I think for me to have an issue with your current friendship solely based on where you guys met, for me, that's not something that I could stand on, because to me for me it's a little bit narrow, and it's too narrow for me. New friends. Again, we had this conversation offline, and I'm gonna bring it up. If I'm sitting at a restaurant bar, which New Orleans is full with restaurant bars.
I just say, if you sitting at Morrow's
and somebody sits next to me,
right,
and says, "How you doing?" "I'm doing fine. How you doing?" "I'm good." And then we get to talking. "Hey, what's your name?" Da 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 da. What you do? We got common interests. Like, again, to automatically say that because I met you at Moro's and we sitting there and I had a couple drinks and you had a couple drinks, that is automatically in the no friend zone. I can't rock with that. I think we are too late, in my personal opinion. We're too layered as individuals. Now, if you already know that when this girl sat down, the first thing you thought about was what you was gonna do to her, that's a whole nother different situation.
Right.
But I don't want to automatic. I don't like having a conversation and then what undergirds it. Recognize when I come with a conversation, I'm coming with just a plain relationship. We're gonna have to bring out the fact that my automatic thought was what I wanted to do to this woman or with this woman. Right. That changes the tenet.
Yeah.
But to go to that nth degree from jump, I think is wrong. That's just me. Like, I'm not there. I've sat at plenty of bars and have great conversations with women. I have no clue who they are, what they do, and I've got up and said, "Hey, it was nice meeting y'all. Have I bought a couple of drinks?" Yeah, off the conversation. Got up. Have they looked at me? "You not gonna ask for the number?" No.
Well, I think that's what
I think
that type of situation is not a bad situation.
Right. When we say, let's stay where you at.
Okay.
Let's stay where you at. Now, when you getting up, we talking about more so when you say friend, it's like friends at bars you buying drinks to. Okay, that's cool.
Right.
We talking about friends more so exchanging numbers. Like, right. I thought we had something in common. We could be cool.
That changes the whole tenet, because I could also say we have a like kindness, and just like Jordan said earlier, and I'm gonna get back to this in a second, but we have a like interest in business. Mm-hmm. Okay, you don't think a business friend can turn into a smashed friend? Yes, it can.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But it's all on how you do it, and that's the thing. Because I will say this, to add another layer, and we're gonna get to this, but her perception is your reality.
Right.
Because if y'all not at the spot where you can come home and say, "Hey, I was talking to this woman I met named Shauna, and her not automatically think, why in the hell you was talking to Shauna?
Right.
But that's a whole
That's a
nother
whole- yeah,
conversation.
that's a whole nother conversation.
And that's the reason why I feel like as men we've been put into these spots because we aren't having the real conversation with our significant others. I want to address one thing you said. Like, honestly, when you was like, hey, you know, even meeting people on new friends on social media, my eye would turn up to that. Like, you met somebody on social media? Like,
It
again,
depends on the intro.
but for me, I'm old school. Like,
Right.
I'm used to
Yeah.
the human interaction. I
Yeah.
haven't met any new people on social media. I may follow somebody from afar, but I ain't never like actually had a conversation with them.
Yeah.
But that's a whole nother topic.
That's
But
so. I'm gonna go. We're gonna change it up a little bit. How do you feel about your spouse, girlfriend, friend, or whoever having male friends?
totally fine with it.
Totally fine with it.
Total 100%.
Okay. And everybody cool.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
fine with that.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Of course.
All right, just making sure. I just
Hold
wanted
on,
to. I wanted to.
You know I
to
gotta
switch.
sprinkle some pepper. We
I know
gotta
you do. You always-
we gotta
I
put some
mean,
Tony Saturates
right.
on this.
We know
We
you
gotta
gotta
put a little bit.
kind. Go ahead.
All right, again, we all right. So is this strictly platonic, meaning no physical interaction or no emotional connection?
Well,
Are we-
let's ask that. So let's ask this, since everybody's okay with the male friends. So if she has a male friend that at one point in time she was intimate with,
Mhm.
but it didn't work out,
Mhm.
and they're just friends,
Mhm.
are we cool?
100%.
Is everybody
I'm
cool?
cool with that.
Cool.
I think that you're.
I mean, that's just life. Life gonna happen. You know
Right.
what I mean? And the fact of the matter is, you have to be mature enough to know how to handle that situation, and you know if your spouse or yourself is mature enough to handle that situation. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, and then you got to be assured within yourself too. You know what I mean? Because as long as you have confidence in who you are, you know who you are. You don't have any reason to feel jealous or like somebody gonna sneak in and get your girl. But like I say, for me, it's just about doing things with respect. Any lady that I have that's a friend of mine, I would want my spouse to at least have met her so that they can always feel comfortable, because guess what? You never know. They might be able to do better business than me and the person that's my friend.
Right.
I have a friend, she lives in Atlanta. I've been knowing her since high school, and every time we talk, it's about business. It's never anything personal. It's never anything like that. We'll sit down, chop it up, talk business. And she gives me more nuggets than some other men. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
and so
right.
for me, it's a different kind of friendship. It's nothing have to do with let's go hang out, let's go chill. No, it's look, I need some advice about this business. What do you think about this marketing scheme? You know, it has to be something for me that's productive. You know, because what happens is a lot of times my days are so planned out. People can't really like Les can't call me. Let's go to the mall. Let's go to the movies. Let's go here. Like I'm structured, so
Yeah.
I don't have much time to say let's do this. No,
Yeah.
let's not do that because I have things to do, right? And if I could get to it, yes, let's do that. And that's why I never overly commit, right? Because what happens is like sometimes people feel disappointed if you can't make it. But for me, I'm just structured, man, and I don't really have as much time as a lot of people to. The time that I spend going out with my friend, I'd rather spend that with my children.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I love my boys. I love my ladies that I'm cool with. And a lot of the ladies that I am friends with are ladies, in fact, that I do business with that help me push ministry forward and different things like that.
All right, go ahead. I do want to add a caveat to this. Go ahead.
So yeah. So I'm just saying, I think that you sound like if you say that, okay, cool. I think that why can't I have female friends, but they can't? I think you sound like a hypocrite if you say that, right? So I think that that's a big reason why I personally say like, yeah, it's completely fine if you want to have a male friend, especially like, hey, like, well, how did you meet them? I just want to know like some genuine information about them, not because hey, I'm already thinking like,
And
oh,
I
you know,
think that's okay though.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
Well, I'm glad because you just segued into exactly what I want to ask. All right, say for situation. Again, we communicating, but she didn't tell you that they were intimate.
Right.
Is that now a no to the friendship?
I wouldn't say it's a no.
I want to know why she didn't say it.
I think in today's time, I think it's very important that there's an upfront communication. I think it's very important because even though you may react and think certain things, we're still human beings. We still have a brain that's constantly turning. So now, if y'all been out drinking, having a good time, and you've been just ranting and raving on your whole night,
Mm-hmm.
and then something comes out, and it's like, why you didn't tell me this?
Right.
Like, you could have just told me that up front, and I would have been okay with it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, you done told me everything else.
Right. And that's not even a lack of like self-confidence type of situation. That's
So-
just like, well, why you feel like you're not lying to me, but you're holding things back.
Right.
Like, what else are you just not telling me?
So it's not it now makes you be like, okay, well, like what was stopping you from telling me that? Not saying that I felt like I should have, like, oh, you know, everything is about to fall down, but it's like you done told me everything else about this person.
Right.
Why did you leave that part out? Because you could have just,
Right.
you know. So look, before we dive too deep in that, because Demetrius is giving me this look like I'm ready to respond to it. So we're gonna take a break, and coming back, which is gonna lead up to this, we're gonna talk about the boundaries, which I know everyone is dying to hear what we're gonna talk about, but when we come back, we'll dive into it. Thank you.
we are sitting down talking to Dr. J, the hearing doc, who is helping people in New Orleans hear and speak better. What's your favorite performer this year that you're looking forward to?
Tank and the Bangers, Diana Ross, Big Frida.
How you got your start?
I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur.
Who inspires you?
I am inspired by everyday people.
Don't make permanent decisions because of temporary feelings.
Ultimately, you have to learn to depend on God and yourself.
I had a pound of weed in the trunk. I knew that day I was gonna go to jail. I want them to know that they can't make it, that there is hope.
In New Orleans, art is everywhere, but sometimes that artistry could come at a price.
Just to put a mural up should not cost an artist $500. We think it should be $50.
I just hate that someone would do that and feel they could come in here and do whatever they want.
I went to prison for distribution of cocaine, and that was a past life.
There should not be prison without reentry service, just period.
Cool, welcome back. So before we went on break, we was talking about, the male friends, and now I'm gonna flip it over. Let's talk about boundaries. So what type of boundaries do we have either with our female friends or the male friends? Should we set boundaries? Do it need to be boundaries? So let me hear y'all chime. Let me chime in on that.
No,
you want to say okay?
Yeah, I'm gonna let.
So Demetrius want to save his for last because he feel like he gonna be long winded. So Jordan, we gonna let you chime in. So let me ask you. So with your lady, do you feel like it needs to be boundaries set with your female friends and with her male friends?
I think so, and that's not so that there's some type of I think that the boundaries are important, and that's mostly because I want to be able to just show once again, going back to that respect level, right? Like I'm not like even if like my guy friends might text me like maybe at 8, 9, 10 o'clock just for whatever reason. It might be like a funny video or something like that. It's a little weird if my female friend is texting me at that time of night and I'm not there to check my phone, but my girl's there to look at my phone like that, and she might think, oh, is there something going on? Why she text you at this time? For me, I'm just like, no, of course not. But you just want to try to avoid.
About you checking my phone. He ain't heard that.
He haven't heard that.
Go ahead, John.
He haven't heard that one.
But I think that boundaries are just important because you just don't want things to like get carried away. And I think that just addressing that head on, like it just avoids so many problems that might come out later on. So like say if you say like, hey, okay, cool, just let you know like, hey, we're not gonna cross this line, we're not gonna cross this boundary line. This is a strictly platonic type of situation. It also helps to reassure your spouse or your girl or whatever, just to make sure that everything is good. Because even though you're not dealing with any type of insecurity issues, nor I want to be with someone that's insecure, you don't want to also be feeding that insecurity by just allowing things to go on that clearly bothers her. And something like, hey, just not telling this person that there's something wrong with this, if they're whether they'd be texting you at certain times at night, or they might even be putting their hands on you in a certain way, like that might be uncomfortable for her, for your spouse. It's good to just at least like clear the air.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna chime in before I give it to you two because I know y'all. So I'm gonna say this. Me personally, I definitely think I wouldn't necessarily say boundaries. I think that if you communicate the right way, the communication, I think that is your boundary. Making sure that your spouse, your wife, your significant other knows how you feel in anything. Like if you come to me and you tell me straight up like, okay, look, this is my like I know she's watching. I know my wife, her male friend is PJ. So I know everything about PJ. All right. So when PJ come in town, they going to get a drink. I'm cool with that. I know that. But now if I don't know nothing about PJ. And then he was like, oh, yeah, I forgot to tell you that, oh, me and PJ stopped and had lunch today. Yeah. Who was PJ? How did you forget to tell me? It makes you ask questions like, I thought we had an open communication. I thought we had this open communication. Why couldn't you communicate that to me? So I don't really, me personally, I don't really think it needs to be a boundary if you all are on the same page as far as communication. If there's a communication loophole, then yeah, then I can understand where people are putting boundaries in.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna go with Corey because I know you piling up your response. He got his arms folded, and I know what that means.
See, let me get my non-defensive posture.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Corey.
I mean, I believe everything in life should have some sort of boundaries. I mean, on the interstate, they have a 60 mile per hour limit, right? Because what happens is if you don't have boundaries in life, God put boundaries in place, right? So at the end of the day, I think everything should have boundaries, because if not, everybody be living any kind of way. You know what I'm saying? But I think especially when you're in a relationship that is a trusting relationship and it's a healthy relationship, I think it's enough respect there to if you are out with your lady friend, that you're not gonna cross those lines, because you respect your spouse. And also, not just respecting your spouse, respecting yourself. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, trying not to put yourself out there like that. Like I said, for me, it's different because I have a lot of little ones. So most of my time spent grinding, or strategizing and different things like that. So I don't have as much leisure time as I once had in my life to kind of do this and do that. Although I do it, but I have a few partners that I'll go sit at a bar with or do something like that with. So I don't really have that void that needs to be filled, so to speak. So it doesn't do me anything to have this lady friend or these ladies friends. For me, it don't make sense for me.
Okay. Now to the man of the hour.
No, don't do that. All right, I'm about to sprinkle something on it, and then I'm gonna come back to the original question.
Okay.
Is that any particular friend, like work friends, or just friends that only come up every now and again?
I think it's based. Me personally, I think it's based on any friend. I would say any friend, because I don't want to necessarily just straight put this one lane of friends. So I would just say any friend.
All right. So for me, in my job, I have a lot of people that I work with that either report to me or just work in my general area.
Right.
And I do have I would probably say more females than males that I actually work with. So I go to lunch with my female friends all the time. I ain't never text my wife and say I'm going to lunch with such and such. I don't feel like it's.
I mean, that's
okay. That's different.
That's understandable.
All right. So I'm gonna put that one on the side burner. New friend that I've known for a while coming in, for lunch. Do I feel it necessary that I have to tell you beforehand? I can't say I feel like it's necessary.
But you and your wife also have that understanding.
Yeah. They're like specifically. So for everybody out there, I'm talking specifically for my situation. Again, I totally get and understand everything that you guys are saying. One of the things I love about this conversation is to have the differing of opinion and thought, and recognize that there is no one size fits all. And I think a recurring theme that I love here is the fact of you having that intimate relationship with the person that you're with, and you guys getting to your understanding and not worried about anybody else's.
Right.
And that's one of the beautiful things about this conversation. So I understand exactly where you're coming from. In my situation, if a friend comes into town, I go to lunch and I go home for that evening, and I say, man, such and such came into town. They called me, we went and had lunch at Felix's. It's going to be like, oh, okay, what are they in town for? Oh, they're in town for a conference. Okay, cool. Like, that's what it would be. I wouldn't get well, why didn't you tell me? But I know who I'm dealing with.
Right. And also, if you do get that, then that's probably something that has happened before.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that, not to say we're leaving out, is our significant other's perception is our reality. And oftentimes when we get certain responses, we don't dig deep enough to get into why did you feel that way, and really attack that.
Okay.
I think it's necessary. So even we're going to get into communication. We talk about communication often in our conversations, but letting somebody be free enough to say, I can't explain how I'm feeling right now, I just don't feel good, and giving them the space to be quiet and really try to search for that without us saying, you know, you said this last week, you still ain't gave me nothing, is big. You know what I mean? Like, because again, oftentimes our boundaries that we set are from experiences that don't have nothing to do with you.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I can definitely agree with that.
And so if you don't deal with that, like I think it's unfortunate if you look at your spouse through another person's situations, because that's unfair.
Right.
You know, to put that on that person. Now, it's not unfair, in my opinion, for you to say, look, this is what happened to me, this is how I feel, this is why I react this way. All right, well, let's come to this. Have I done anything to make you feel that way?
Yeah.
So now the deconstruct comes from, look, what have I consistently modeled for you? Because unfortunately in society, our negatives compound, our positives don't. Mm-hmm. Think about it. It's easy to think about what you don't like about somebody.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then you know what happens with that? The two words that, in my opinion, should never be used, always and never. They come out. Mm-hmm. You don't never do this, or you always do this. And so again, one of the things I think undercurrent theme is, you know, what is the real issue? Is it the woman? Is it the communication? Is it insecure? I mean, it's multifaceted. And what I hope is coming out of this is the fact that we get to the root of the issue and not the surface.
I think Demetrius just gave us another topic that we need to touch on.
Yes, sir.
So I truly listen. I hope y'all listening. He has an email that he gonna provide to y'all for personal.
No, so look, just go comment and I'll respond to the comments through somebody.
So let me ask y'all this, fellas. How much? So let me back up. Is there too much of a time? Like, I guess, like if they're hanging with a friend, is it a certain category where they're spending too much time?
I want to go first on this. Me and my wife just had this conversation last night. She was like, and this was on a new friend. Mm-hmm. She was like, you met a new friend, and for the last 5 nights, y'all done something for the last 5 nights. It's gonna be like, say, brother, who is and why?
Yeah,
that's totally understandable.
Okay.
But if it's a situation like me, I like to smoke cigars. I may go smoke cigars out maybe once a week.
But that's with
maybe twice.
That's with the fellas.
No, I have female friends that smoke cigars too.
Okay.
And so yeah.
Is it okay? So it's multiple female friends that you'll go smoke cigars with, or is just one particular one that hey, let's meet up and let's go smoke some cigars together?
Depends. I've gone out. I was a part of a cigar club in Washington D.C. Had a lot of female friends that smoke cigars. We had one spot that everybody would go to. We'd go there and smoke cigars.
Gotcha.
Watch the game on Thursday. Watch the game on Sunday.
So I think the thing is, is there a limit on how much time you're hanging with this person of the opposite sex? Like, I mean, okay, like the baby, this is my friend. Like, is it 2-3 times a week, every weekend?
I'm not gonna lie to you. I ain't got 2 or 3 times a week to hang with somebody outside. Like, it's maybe one day that I go out.
Right.
You know, I'm trying to get 2 or 3 times a week with my wife.
Okay.
It only 7 days in a week.
That's what
then I'm sleep the other 3. So and then I get one day where I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go do something for myself. I mean,
okay, so let me ask you, so is there a limit on locations? Is there a limit on locations? Like, if you're going to meet with your female friend, is there is there a boundary on where y'all can meet?
That's. I mean, it just depends on each person is different. You know what I mean?
I make it more deeper. So let's say I give you a bar, I give you a restaurant, or if she wants to invite you over to her place.
For me, I'd rather go to the restaurant.
Okay.
That's just me, because it's more open, and I will want to communicate that I'm going to that restaurant first. That's just my opinion, right? Because what happens is, somebody can see that, right? Mm-hmm. You out in the restaurant like, what is Corey doing?
You already know right here.
Oh yeah, and so guess what? We laughed at somebody that tripped over the thing, and now it looks a little bit different, right?
Right.
So I wouldn't want it to look bad. That's why for me, I'd rather think just communicate. Just communicate, look, I'm doing this. For me, what makes me comfortable, let's get out in the public scene, right? I don't want meat at your house.
Is a bar not a public scene? Is a
Yeah,
bar?
I mean,
okay,
it
restaurant
depends on,
bar.
yeah.
Okay.
For me, I'm not a big drinker.
Okay.
So the
I
bar
get
wouldn't
that.
work for me.
I wouldn't want you at the
But
bar.
you remember he also said too though, even though you're going to a bar, it's about the setting, because you can go to plenty, like it's some bars where they got the little off couches with the light dim.
Yeah. You in the ducks.
Like that's an intimate setting. Now you can go to a bar where it's light and everybody can see you. It's different. You know what I'm saying? But
I've been at a dark bar with a female friend, and I'm sitting at the bar.
Right.
Having the whole conversation. It may be dimly lit in the bar.
Right.
But I'm sitting there and how was your day?
I just think that communication is just so important, because if you communicate with your significant other that, hey, yeah, I'm about to go out, either to a restaurant or what have you. I'm not saying go to their house. You know what I mean? There's things in the house.
Mm-hmm.
You never know what those intentions are. But as long as communication has been just utilized within your entire relationship, then there shouldn't be an issue.
And I just want to make sure we specify. When you say at the house, we are assuming that this is a one-on-one meeting at the house.
Right.
That's assumption. Because if she had poker night, or we having a spades tournament,
my wife coming with me.
But what if she don't want to play? What if she got something else to do?
I mean, she can sit on the side and do some work.
All right. So what if there's a conflict in schedule? Your wife has to go somewhere else. Does that preclude you from the spades tournament?
I'm just gonna say this: if I have a female friend that's having something at her house, I'm not going unless my wife is with me. Point blank and period, and it's vice versa. Simple as that. Cause I mean, let's say we got a spades tournament. Everybody leave. I'm helping clean up. Yeah. We the last two in.
That's a whole different conversation.
It is, but at the same time, like I'm more so. I would like for the.
Well, my thing is this. All right. I mean, when it was time to go, who told you had to stay and clean up?
You're right.
Well, you have to also.
So again,
it's know that. Are you just is the only person that you know that is your female friend, or is it everyone?
It may be, but my thing is we're in a group setting. You have complete autonomy on when you move around
and when you leave, right?
Or when you leave.
Right.
So for me to say I ain't gonna go because my wife isn't there, and Lord knows I like playing dominoes.
Putting yourself in that situation.
But again, I'm going there to play dominoes. When it's time to go, I pack up and go home or to the next place where I'm supposed to be going. I'm not going to automatically cut that off with this whole thing in my head that eventually we going to end up in this house alone together.
So what if it's not dominoes? What if it's taco night?
And it's a group of people coming?
So let me say this. So what if it turns out to be, well, I'm going to invite a few friends over for taco night.
Mm-hmm.
Just so happen when you get there, some people cancel.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe it's you and her. So then what you do? You're there because you're in your mind. You thinking it's a group of, and the reason why I'm approaching it this way, because I want to, like, there's people that's watching that may have different thoughts and opinions. So I want to kind of dive into that. Yeah. So let's say you get there and the people that were supposed to come didn't come, and it's just you and her. Then what you do?
If I didn't know that and I get there and I'm like, what's that? Oh, they canceled. What's that? They canceled. And the food ready? I'm probably gonna eat some tacos. I'm just be honest with you. Because I came to eat.
I'll probably get a plate too.
I'm laughing because I'm like, yeah, bro.
I ain't gonna stay there.
Hey, my wife like,
I get the plate.
Bro, you know you gonna get them tacos.
Yeah, I may, like how your boy D. Ray Davis said, I did. Like that's what I'm gonna eat some. I went there to eat tacos. I ain't gonna get up because nobody showed up. Honestly, I'm gonna be like, I just won. Cause ain't nobody here I gotta fight with on the food.
And you can take something to go.
And you can take a plate for the
again. So
I'll take a plate.
So fellas, we have ways that you can get around this. So look, I'm gonna go this. So, is there a limit to a time of day, evening, or night that you spend with this person? Like, is there a limit? Like, is you like, look, y'all, we gonna meet up about 9 o'clock at such and such.
Right.
You're like,
I'll be honest with you. If I ain't out the house by like 8 o'clock, I probably ain't going.
Yeah, me too.
Like the way my life's set up, and the way my age is.
I
don't meet my homeboys that call me like, yo, we gonna meet up at the spot about 10. I'll be like, we got a pregame situation.
Right.
I ain't gonna make 10 if I ain't already out.
Yeah. So all right. So we gonna shift it because I know we're more of the a senior citizen, so we're gonna go to the younger version. And be like, because they're gonna be like, nah, we're gonna go to you. So, is there a limit to a certain time of day? That, I mean, whether it's you,
Right.
whether it's you or your significant other that's going to meet with your friends.
Right. So I'm just assuming that when you ask this question that I'm just meeting up with one person, not like a group of.
Yeah, we're just
like,
gonna do one person.
One person. I'm not leaving out to go meet up with one person like with my female friend like after like 8, 9 o'clock. You know what I mean? Because I think that at that point we can make a time or arrange a time to meet up while the sun's still out.
Okay.
If I'm meeting them up at that time of night, I'm only just trying to like really relax, have a good time. But I can do that with my significant other. I can do that with my girlfriend. I don't have to do that with like my, or I can do that with my male friends, whatever, my best friends or whatever. And that's not me saying like, okay, cool, I don't want to, like my female friend might be my best friend. But I just think that for me, I'm cool with just like, you know what I mean? I think we can kind of like meet up maybe tomorrow or something like that during the day. You know what I mean? Like maybe it's and that's not even like a self-conscious situation on my end. It's just like, you know what I mean? Like I'm good. I can just relax, stay home.
Demetrius start turning in his chair.
Jordan,
What's
I'm
up?
gonna ask you a
So-
question. I'm gonna ask you a question.
Yeah.
Can somebody get smashed on at 2 p.m.?
Yeah.
Yes.
But what are your chances on 9, 10 o'clock?
When you're an adult and you really trying to get at something, the time of day ain't gonna matter.
But you gotta go on
Yeah.
percentages. Are your percentages higher at 2?
It is.
Or is higher at 9, 10 o'clock at night?
I don't know. I'm
At 9, 10 o'clock at night.
Seriously.
If people gonna do something, they gonna do it. It
Right.
don't
If
matter.
that's what I'm trying to get to.
Yeah,
right.
But the thing is, I want to, for the people that think, you know, like listen, we have
okay.
4 people up here that
All
have
right.
different.
So just so everybody knows, I understand exactly what everybody's going to, and I would not recommend going to meet a female friend as a
Thank
guy
you.
at
There we go.
11 p.m.
That's it.
What they know about me is I like to play devil's advocate. It's not that I want to make you think like I'm thinking. I just want to say stuff to make sure you are thinking. So for anybody out there that's looking at me like this Negro is crazy, I'm not crazy. I'm just one to say, what about this? Because I think that, you know, as much as black and white we try to make life, we you know, it's a kaleidoscope. We got all kind of colors. And I think it's we have to, as men, especially black men, let's dive into them as much as possible. So that's just.
Let me tell you another thing too. I think as the man, especially, you got to know yourself.
Yeah.
You know, and you gotta know what your limitations are. Like for me, I ain't the one to go to the strip club. Not because
I'm not a fan of it.
it's just.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, it's just not for me,
Yeah.
right? And at the end of the day, it's not for me, not because I don't like what's going on in the strip club. It's just not for me because I know me.
Mm-hmm.
So to keep me protected, I don't go there. You see what I'm saying? So in certain situations, I think you have to know yourself. You have to know your strengths. You have to know your weaknesses. Like you might not have a problem with it because you good. You just won't play poker, right?
Hey, I'm be honest with you though. To your strip club point, there was this one strip club in Houston called Onyx
Yeah.
that had the chef from Papados, and the food was banging.
Lord,
Let's do it.
Listen. Look, wait, hold on 1 second. Look, y'all. We have to take a quick break. We have to take a quick break, and when we bring it back, we're gonna give our positive feedback on everything that we discussed today, and we're also gonna answer a few questions. So just give us a few minutes. We'll be right back. Thank you.
we are sitting down talking to Dr. J, the hearing doc, who is helping people in New Orleans hear and speak better. What's your favorite performer this year that you're looking forward to?
Tank and the Bangers, Diana Ross, Big Frida.
How you got your start?
I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur.
Who inspires you?
I am inspired by everyday people.
Don't make permanent decisions because of temporary feelings.
Ultimately, you have to learn to depend on God and yourself.
I had a pound of weed in the trunk. I knew that that day I was gonna go to jail. I want them to know that they can't make it, that there is hope.
In New Orleans, art is everywhere, but sometimes that artistry could come at a price.
Just to put a mural up should not cost an artist $500. We think it should be $50.
I just hate that someone would do that and feel they could come in here and do whatever they want.
I went to prison for distribution of cocaine, and that was a past life.
There should not be prison without reentry service, just period.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back. In closing, I want to kind of go around the table, and we want to all one of my main things in doing this podcast is that I always want to end on positivity, always. So with that being said, I kind of want to go around the table and get everybody positive feedback, and I just want to start with the communication between everything that we talk about, as far as, you know, the male, the female friends, and all of the above. So I just want to start with communication. So I want to start.
I think that just communication is the absolute most important thing within your relationship. That's what's gonna make or break everything, because if you're holding things back, then I don't see how that's gonna work at all. So communication is definitely important. I think that you can really explain yourself out of a bag if you can, but if the person understands you as a person, because y'all been together for X, Y, and Z amount of time, or y'all are just that open where y'all both are very much on the same wavelength. Definitely communication is key.
Cool. All right, Corey.
I think not only communication is great, but understanding is important as well, because we have to understand what that person is communicating. We have to understand and hear the unspoken language a lot of times, because on the surface it may be this one thing, but their heart may be saying a different thing. So you have to really listen aggressively. Also, I mean, for me, just know yourself. Know yourself. Know what situations you're comfortable, you know, with being in. Always remember your past failures and try not to put yourself in that situation again. And also, as far as your spouse, just be real, just be honest, be open. Because what happens is it can work with you having friends or them having friends. It just depends on what works for y'all relationship. But I think it should be out there. I think it should be in the open. There shouldn't be anything to hide, no stone unturned for it to work the right way. Because a lot of times people might have something like you said earlier, you done smashed, but you didn't bring that part up, right? And that poses a problem, because now you're trying to go sit down and it's something I'm in a blind with, right? And I think all that should be brought to the light. For me, it's tough, especially in situations that I've had personally, to be friends with a lot of my exes, because maybe of the way the relationship ended or certain things like that. Or, you know, it just was different. You know what I'm saying? So for me, being friends with my exes, it ain't really my thing. I love them. I respect them. I want them to do well. If they need me and they're in a real life situation, I'll be there to help. But to have a day-to-day, month-to-month communication is not necessary for me.
Okay. Cool. This is Demetrius.
Make sure that it's okay. Not say make sure that's okay. Create an environment where it's okay for the individuals to be vulnerable in that communication.
Agreed.
I've had a recent conversation with a friend of mine I said in relationships there's a vulnerability and then there was a responsibility. When one person is being vulnerable, the other one is responsible for the vulnerability that they're providing them. What you do with it is gonna, not to say make or break, but it is gonna put a hierarchy on how often they are vulnerable with you. You know, and making sure that atmosphere is created. It's something I struggle with early on in my relationship with my wife, is being vulnerable on certain issues. I may not lie about it, but I may not tell you everything because I was afraid of the response that I was going to get back.
Yeah.
But that was rooted in past experiences and not me looking at the person. So when you're communicating, in my opinion, with your spouse, you got to look at them.
Yeah.
See your spouse, not your experiences.
Yeah.
Give them the
That's
benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
And go off of what they've shown you. If he's always been good or she's always been good, why, when something comes up that spurns an old thought, why are you judging them off of that? And now we're going through hoops, not from what I've shown you, but because of a past hurt that I didn't create. And that's a big thing, and it's one of the things that I've had to learn over time. And like I tell anybody, you know, do I have exes that I don't want to talk to? You got doggone right. You know, do I have some that, you know, we didn't talk, but I looked at the relationship and recognized where I fell short and said, hey, yo, let's meet up for dinner, because I need to look at you in your face and tell you I don't hate you. You know, I think you a cool person. It just didn't work out. I was young, you was young.
Yeah.
And we cool now. You know what I mean? And so that's the biggest thing. And in life, you know, we say that we're a world of second chances, but we don't treat each other that way.
Mm-hmm.
You know, remember, you know, treat people how you want to be treated. If you were to mess up or fall short, you would hope somebody would give you a second chance. And one thing we had that conversation offline is we started talking about the grace in relationships. Have grace in your communication.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know I say some things that get a little crazy, but trust me, I'm well grounded and rooted. And because of the woman that I do have, like, she's helped me tremendously, and even some of my thoughts, and elevating me in that thought process. And now when I see certain things, I'm like, I can look at it in a more objective light. That's a whole nother conversation, but that's where you got it.
And I appreciate it, man. So, you know, my take with, you know, the communication, I feel that, and I'm just saying this, like, this is why, you know, I love my wife so much. One of the things that I know. One of the things that, you know, we sat down and we agreed to, look, you was this person, I was this person. You know, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you everything. I know some of the stuff you ain't gonna want to hear, but I feel like I need to tell you this, just because that, and I think Corey touched on this. When people see that you done switch lanes in life, they gonna always try to remind you where you came from.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Oh, you used to be such and such from back then. Yeah, I used to be, but that's not me. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I didn't want her to get blindsided with anything, and the same thing for me. So, I mean, one of the biggest things that we thrive off of is communication. Like, we tell me, even if you feel like I'm gonna feel some type of way, tell me. Vice versa to you. Like, if I feel like you, I'm still gonna tell you. You may get emotional, I may get mad, or whatever the case may be. We gonna kiss, we gonna hug, we gonna go get something to eat. We're gonna be fine. It is what it is, you know? So I think that it's very important that you set your relationship, your marriage off trust and communicate. That communication is so important, because the moment you compromise communication, it's tough. Like, it's tough. Like, when you want to get half truth.
But let me add to that. Like, we say communication. Communication is talking and listening.
Yeah. Which
and
probably
listening,
some people have.
Listening, not listening to respond, but listening to understand.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
You know,
I agree. I definitely agree.
So, let me tell you too, another important part, man, the God factor in the midst of your relationship. You know what I mean? Because communication is great. and everything, but God is the glue that keeps it all together, you know, because what's gonna happen is they gonna have some ups and downs in your relationship or your marriage or whatever, and sometimes you might not feel in love, sometimes you might fall in love, fall out of love, you just don't know, right? But allowing God to be that glue to see you through is important in a relationship, because the more you work on yourself, right? It's like a woman doesn't necessarily have to fuss at a man all day that knows God. All she got to do is pray for him. Because what happens is God is going to humble that man if he gets out of line. And the same thing with that woman. Her perspective shouldn't be worrying about cheating on you. It's more so about cheating on God, right? And I love God more than I love you. So you know what I'm saying? So what happens is that makes it that much easier. It makes it better on top of the communication and on top of the trust and everything else.
Cool. Well, I'm going to bring it back to me and wrap it up. So I don't want to be too sentimental, because I want you, look. One thing, I know, man. I know. I gotta be tough now. I'm playing. One of the things I truly appreciate, each and every one of you, is to help me, help us, help black men bring this type of conversation to the light. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of people talk about this behind closed doors, but are scared to be in front of a camera, a mic, a scene, public. So with that being said, man, I appreciate each and every one of you on being open to the fact of we just open up our lives and we just having a general conversation. Right. Like, we don't care who's listening. Like, we all understand that we're not perfect. We understand that. But we do understand that we're all thriving to be better than we was yesterday. So with that being said, listen, I appreciate everybody that has been tuning in. If you have any comments, any feedback, please hit us up. Thank you all. Once again, I have Mr. Corey, I have Mrs. Demetrius, and I have Mr. Jordan, and yours truly, I'm your host, Burke McGee. Once again, we'll be back next Thursday at 6:30. Thank you all for tuning in. Love y'all. God bless.
Here's the view, baby.
Yes, sir. Yeah.